2019 at Upper Sandusky High School. That was the last time that Colonel Crawford lost a regular season game, and since then they have rattled off 34 straight wins, and they look for win number 35 tonight here at the Golden Knights Palace as they take on the Golden Knights of Northmor High School. We'll be back with our pregame show right after this.
Here we go now.
Here we go now. Here we go now.
James One Incorporated, providing innovative workshops and training for school districts throughout Ohio. We specialize in the areas of cultural awareness and sensitivity, dangers of teen substance abuse, and more. Call today and schedule your first session. First in promoting excellence through quality professional development.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, when you've got your lays that don't last many days, 'cause the whole family's here. Oh, wow. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happiest season of all. The trees at an angle, the lights are all tangled. Doritos, good call. It's the happiest season of all. There'll be smart food for munching, some ruffles for crunching, and snowball fights out in the snow.
Crying!
Run.
Family portraits are cheesy with Cheetos, it's easy. White shirts were a bad idea though. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Grab the queso and salsa. Don't double dip, you monster! Pass the Tostitos here. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be gifts for returning and recipes burning and snacks all laid out in a row. We'll smile through the season, hold tight to the reasons the holidays make our hearts glow. It's the most wonderful time, yes, the most wonderful time, oh, the most wonderful time of the year. Happy holidays! Happy holidays!
Ohio Health is the official sports medicine provider of Northmor High School. Available 24/7 to care for your athletes with same-day appointment options. We keep your athletes healthy and in the game. Ohio Health is proud to partner with Northmor High School to provide a healthier community. We are healthcare experts close to home, serving teams, parents, and all of Morrow County. Ohio Health. Believe in we.
Goodness, what a catch!
camera?
That one.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Castle here at Northmor High School, where Northmor is taking on the Colonel Crawford Eagles. I am Brian Harder, along with Greg Collins, and it is finally the start of basketball season in North Central Ohio, and something we didn't have last year. We actually have fans in the stands for the regular season, and I'm excited about it.
And pep bands.
And pep bands. So that just adds to the excitement, adds to the flavor here. And you got a very good early season matchup between Northmor and Colonel Crawford. Northmor obviously struggled a year ago.
Yep.
They want to see where they are now. They got off to a win in their first game. Colonel Crawford, they've already played twice, and they've got 2 wins. So they're 2-0 coming in, and they're going against a team in Northmor that is 1-0. Now, in the series, Colonel Crawford won this game by 30 last year. And if you're for Northmor, you're hoping that your team is a little bit
more
how do we want to put
competitive.
this? More competitive
Right.
against a team that is very good. So this is a good barometer for Northmor.
Well, it is, and I think from Northmor's standpoint, listen, it's a non-league game. And Coach Tackett, big win last week. Marion Pleasant is a team that we saw last year and played a lot of younger kids and played pretty well. So that is a good win for Northmor to start the season. Tonight it's going to be a different test, though. You're playing one of the best teams in the area. But it's going to give you a gauge. It's going to tell you what you need to work on to get to this level. It's going to help you down the road as league play comes up.
Now, Blade Tackett in his second season as the head coach at Northmor, we're going to send you back in time here. What do you remember about the beginning of that second season at Lexington as the head coach?
Well, I remember leaving kids behind that first season, so that was the first goal, just to make sure everybody got on the bus before and after the game. But you want to see improvement. Of course, with the summer that they had last year that they weren't allowed to have because of COVID 2 summers ago, he's able to implement more of what he wants to do, and hopefully that's going to come through as the season progresses.
Travis Berardi is standing by with the head coach. Let's go down courtside.
Year number 2 for you, Coach. You know, last year just getting a feeling out period with a younger squad, trying to figure out what they have. This year you're able to implement some things, especially in the summer, a chaotic yet, balanced defense. Defensively speaking of that, what do you need to do tonight to, hold Mason Studer down and the others like Carter Valentine?
Yeah, we call it a little controlled chaos is kind of our language. But, they're great players. We still want to pressure the ball. We still want to kind of slow them down in transition, so we'll pick them up full court and zigzag them. We'll try to make things tougher in offense. We're going to force everything to our help side, try to play in the passing lanes. Carter, we're going to try to be physical, but it's not going to be one person on them, just following them around. We're still going to do the things we did at Pleasant. We're really forcing them to our help side, rotating hard, trying to bait them into passes that look open, and, anything to get the ball to our help side, we think we can make some things happen. And then, our biggest thing is we find 11 and 1 in transition and stop them early, close out on their shooters, box out. That's what it comes down to.
And then offensively, Grayson Cass has been working his hind end off all summer. You got Grant Bentley back. He's had half a season at least on varsity. He's been progressing as well. Offensively, what can you do to kind of cancel out Studer and Valentine's offensive output?
Yeah, we have worked hard. Grayson's worked really hard. Basketball's kind of his sport, so he's in the gym all the time. Our other guys have worked really hard dating back to the spring and summer. But yeah, they showed us some things the first night. Those two pushing in transition are pretty dynamic. Grayson's good off the dribble with the pull-up. He can shoot the three. He can get to the basket. Grant's the same way. He's fundamental, uses his hips well, his finishes well. And then our other guys are looking for their spots, either the drive, kick out three, offensive rebound, and score. So yeah, we got a really good thing. Everyone knows what their role is. Everyone knows kind of what our identity is and what we want to do. And, our guys have bought into that, at least for a game. A long season, but at least for a game.
All right. Good luck tonight, Coach.
Thanks, Travis.
Now we go from the pupil to the teacher. Blade Tackett obviously played for Dave Sheldon at Colonel Crawford, and Brian Skoronsky had a chance to grab some comments from Dave before the game as well.
16 years as coach of the Eagles and one of the best that we have in the biz in all of North Central Ohio. And off to another nice start to the season, David Sheldon, 2-0 so far. What would you say you like most about this part of the journey? You're still building the foundation, so lots of lessons to be learned and a lot of opportunities to grow.
Yeah, we've got off to a good start, but like you said, there's a lot of growth. Every day we're trying to grow. And, we got 2 good players back, and, we got a lot of new faces that didn't play last year. So just getting their feet well, with varsity basketball. But defensively, we got to keep getting better.
In the other coaching box tonight, obviously a guy that you know pretty well, played for you at Colonel Crawford, Blade Tackett. So obviously, Coach, a lot of his tendencies, probably some of his weaknesses. You've got over 260 wins. He's just in his second season. You would think mismatch, right? Bonus in terms of the Eagles for the coaching?
No, Blade's great. That's one of the biggest pleasures in being a coach in 20 years. Seeing a guy like that doing what I'm doing, coaching, being an AD, and he's a great, great young coach, and it's a good basketball team he has that we're going to face tonight.
We'll see how much he's grown. You beat him by 30 last year. And oh, by the way, the Eagles haven't lost in the regular season in 34 outings. Good luck to you tonight, Coach.
Thanks, Brian.
And what more can you say about the Colonel Crawford Eagles? The keys for them for tonight's game, they're going to have to handle the pressure that they're going to see from Northmor. And I was talking with their coach before the game as well, and he told me they're really not going to change anything based on the personnel. They want to come out and they want to play their style of game, which is they want to press you in the full court and they want to play you man-to-man.
Well, Coach Tackett, obviously, as you mentioned, played at Colonel Crawford, played in college. He knows how hard you have to play to be successful. He has a game plan tonight. It's easier said than done against the Colonel Crawford team, but he has a game plan, and he just wants to see his kids attempt to execute that game plan and play hard for 32 minutes.
34-game winning streak. Now, you
That's
obviously
amazing.
Have had a lot of success coaching. You won 2 state championships at Lexington. Talk about the pressure, the longest winning streak that you experienced, and the pressure that you felt, your team felt, as that streak got longer.
I tell you, one year at Mansfield early on, we won 21 straight, lost our last game, and I was happy. The pressure the kids felt going in for an undefeated regular season, I said to myself, we're never going to be in this situation again. We are going to schedule non-league opponents where somewhere down the line we're going to get beat during the regular season early.
Now, talking with him, he doesn't seem to – obviously a coach, you're not going to be able to read it just by talking to him and seeing it, but you know he's feeling that.
Well, I'm sure he is, but I can tell you he's handling it a lot better than I ever did. He's obviously got things rolling. He plays a good schedule. He plays Kenton, which is Division II last week. They thumped in. They played Lexington later in the season. They play a very good non-league schedule that gets them ready, not just for their league, but for tournament play.
We're going to pause now for the playing and singing of our national anthem. Thank you for joining us for the Burkhart Farm Center pregame show. I am Brian Harder along with Greg Collins, and we're just getting ready to start our regular season coverage of high school basketball as Northmor is taking on Colonel Crawford. And we've talked a little bit about Crawford. Now for Northmor, the keys for them to come out with a win tonight. And I think when you're playing against a team like Crawford, as talented as they are, how you start this game is crucial.
Well, you're right. I mean, there's no question that Colonel Crawford is what I think a heavy favorite tonight. So you're going to have to start a quick start, as you mentioned, but you're going to have to match the intensity. Anytime you play a Sheldon coach team, whether it was his dad's Wentford team, whether it's Colonel Crawford, or whether it's Dave's brother's team, you've got to, they're going to play hard. They're going to come out and be intense. So Northmor, number one, you've got to match that intensity from the beginning.
Now you take a look at the roster that Colonel Crawford has, but on the Northmor side, they like the talent that they bring back this year, especially Grant Bentley, who comes in as a young player, a sophomore, and he already had 23 points in their opener against Pleasant. He showed last year the ability to score, not just from the perimeter, but he can finish around the basket, and he's a guy who's really becoming a complete player for them.
I'm looking forward to watching him play. Remember last year we saw Northmor, 3 or 4 times? Throughout the season, we saw many freshmen that contributed, which amazed me at the varsity level, he being one of them. Now, we made the comment last year, he had to physically get stronger. Obviously, he's a young kid. He's going to mature. He is bigger and stronger right now. He will be even better in a couple of years. But mentally, how is he mentally stronger this year than he was last year? Obviously, it must be a pretty good start. 23 you said against Pleasant last week? That's not bad for a sophomore.
So Max Lauer will be jumping up against Carter Valentine. Carter Valentine, the reigning N10 Player of the Year, and the Eagles will start with the basketball.
Now, it's been years since I've seen Colonel Crawford play, but when I remember them playing under Dave Sheldon, they would run a lot of sets. They'll try to get their good shooters, which is smart, and they do have a handful of them. Valentine right there being one of them.
Well, Valentine, you look at the roster and you see 6'6". He is a guard. He loves playing facing the basket. He can shoot the basketball very well, and he's already committed to playing at Ashland University, so they're going to get a very solid perimeter player. And then we see a turnover by Northmor, and that's something that they want to eliminate.
And that's something they had a problem with last year. They had a problem with against Marion Pleasant last week. They want to play fast tempo, so you're going to have some turnovers. Last year they just had too many in the games that we covered.
Yeah, they had 20 against Pleasant, and Blade Tackett told me that is way too many, although he said you have to get a little bit comfortable because they want to play fast, so they're going to turn the ball over a little bit, but he doesn't like that being up in the 20s.
Right. We have a saying in coaching that you want to get your players comfortable being uncomfortable. Well, they're playing at a faster pace this year. They want to than they have in the past, so they're going to be a little bit uncomfortable. In time, you hope that they become more comfortable.
Studer misses his first shot of the game, driving to the left side of the basket, and Northmor tries to answer at the other end, but they turn the ball over again. And McKibben misfires, but an offensive rebound and a foul as Carson Feitner went up for the putback, and Crawford will go to the line.
Well, you remember the interview that we had before the game with Coach Tackett. He talked about defensively rebounding. Here, right there's another example. There were a couple of Northmor kids around. Colonel Crawford just more aggressive, gets the offensive putback.
Feitner, a 6'3" senior. Dave Sheldon excited about this group that he has heading into this year, but as you heard in our pregame interview, he does feel there is still room for growth.
Well, you certainly hope so when you're only game 3 of the season, and you know that they're going to get better as the season progresses. They're going to get healthier. They have had their share of some injuries. Hopefully they're going to get healthier as the year goes on.
McKibben is one of those guys who was banged up. He was not originally in the starting lineup as they go inside to Lauer, and that's a good sign for Northmor as Lauer shows some offensive aggressiveness and gets his first 2 points of the game.
And it was a nice pass. The defense, Valentine, was on the backside, the low side. Nice pass away from him for an easy basket.
Carter Valentine off to a hot start. He's got 5.
I talked with John Ellenwood today, the coach from Ashland. He's excited about that young man. He's excited what he brings. He knows he plays hard because he plays for Colonel Crawford, but he says he's a shooter. We saw that the first possession. He said he can drive. He's going to get bigger and stronger as he gets to college.
Baker pushes the other way, misfires, and a rebound down to Grant Bentley, the sophomore. Crawford out to a 4-point lead, 5.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Try to lob it inside to Lauer, who finishes on the backside. Lauer with 4.
That's the second time. Again, they caught Valentine playing below Lauer, and the nice lob pass inside. Lauer takes advantage.
3 in the corner is no good, but another offensive rebound as Crawford takes advantage of their size, but then they turn the ball over. And Crawford now can tie it with a 2 or take the lead with a 3.
That was a good battle by Grayson Cass. He had a good box out, and he really challenged, went for the basketball.
Cass, a solid senior point guard.
We had a game last year where Grayson, I remember, was 7 for 9 from the field. Really shot the ball well.
Now this is where sitting here singing his praise as he turns the ball over. Jacob Maddie into the lineup for Crawford. And Braxton Baker will sit down. Maddie has, all he's done in his first 2 games is averaged 12.5 rebounds a game. He is a rebounding machine.
17 in the first game against Crestline.
Only averages 4.5 points a game, but they have guys that can score.
Exactly. He's their Dennis Rodman, if you remember him from the nasty boys, the bad boys.
Well, and it's funny that you bring him up. That was his role, was to rebound and play defense, and that's exactly what Maddie brings to this Crawford team. That's running miss inside by Logan Mariotti, but an offensive rebound. And Northmor with an opportunity to reset, but Bentley misfires from outside.
That was a good outlet pass by Lauer. Lauer has played well lately.
Well, and if you remember Lauer last year, he had games where he looked really good, but then he had games where he played like a sophomore. But this year we're seeing a lot more aggressiveness out of him, and they really took advantage of that on the football field. He had an outstanding football season, going over 1,000 yards.
Yeah, you can see the football in him, and he doesn't back down.
Bentley tried to go up in the trees. Valentine for 3.
Quick release. Nice pass. Gave him a little bit of room. Quick release. Can't do that when you have a good shooter.
Valentine now leads all scorers with 8. And the lead is up to 7. Left-handed layup. Hunter Folk with his first 2 of the night, and the ball's out of bounds, and it's going to go to Colonel Crawford. And again, this was something that Blake Tackett was concerned about when you're playing at this tempo, controlling the turnovers.
No, you're right. Obviously, when you play fast, you're going to have more turnovers. You're going to be prone to it. But again, you want to get better and better as the season progresses. 20 wet last week against Marion Pleasant. A good Crawford team. You're going to have to expect some tonight.
Well, and the thing that he told me he was concerned about, it's one thing it's if it's in aggression, but if it's an unforced error,
right,
those are the things that they're trying to eliminate.
And like we said, this is going to be a learning experience, a non-league game for both teams. So, you just want to see Northmor. Can you follow the game plan? Can you execute to a degree?
Studer launches for 3, and Lauer skies for the rebound.
Studer's one that Dave Sheldon really raved about pregame. He said, we're going to enjoy watching him play. He plays hard all the time. I'm looking forward to this.
Three in the air by Schneer, doesn't go, and battle inside, but an offensive rebound put up and in by Folk, and he comes in and gives them some offense. The sophomore now with 4. Quickly at the other end, Studer. And an offensive foul is going to be called on Colonel Crawford, so Northmor is going to get the ball back, down by 3. So if you're Blade Tackett, you're down by 3, 2.5 minutes to go in the first quarter, and they're kind of getting their legs under them a little bit, and they're getting some confidence that they can play with these guys.
Well, and we said you had to match their intensity, and Northmore's doing a pretty good job. They're playing hard. You can see where Colonel Crawford has made a change defensively on Lauer. Trying to keep the ball from going inside.
Inside to Valentine.
Nice pass.
Valentine already in double figures now with 10. Crawford solid in the half court defensively. Hunter Falk, who has 4. He drives and draws the foul. So the 5'8" sophomore will go to the line.
And as you mentioned, I like the aggressiveness. I like the, challenging Colonel Crawford. That's great. Get the ball to the basket. Try to get some easy baskets, some easy points.
This was one area where Northmor did struggle against Pleasant, was from the line, and they're already 1 for 1 tonight. Coach Tackett said they were about 50% from the free throw line, and obviously it was a game that they won, but that's something they have to clean up. And Folk splits the pair. Valentine with a long 3. And Cass has it poked away by Valentine and then commits the foul.
Just a little bit too loose with the basketball right there, dribbling out in front of him, and Valentine took advantage and got his hands on it for the steal.
Cass in the win over Pleasant. 13 points, 9 assists, 6 steals. There's a good look at Dave Sheldon. 266 career wins. Well, he's really set the standard. He passed Dave Freilich. He's the all-time winningest coach in Colonel Crawford history.
And Dave has some great teams at Colonel Crawford, and it continues.
Valentine from the baseline doesn't go.
And that was good defense. A step-back shot with pressure. Good defense by Northmor, and they get the rebound.
And a traveling violation, another unforced error. And Crawford gets the ball back with a 4-point lead. We're under a minute now to go in the first quarter.
It's amazing with the amount of turnovers that they have, they're only down 4.
Studer has gotten off to a slow start. Valentine, he misfires, and another opportunity here to close the gap as we get close to the end of the quarter.
One and done.
You see they want to push the tempo, but Crawford doing a very good job of getting back defensively.
Here's a chance where I think Northmor would be wise. Maybe if they could hold the ball, get one last shot. They decide not to. It's going to give Colonel Crawford a chance to get the final shot. And it looks like they're going to send people baseline and let Studer go one-on-one and kick.
Three-pointer up and good by Braxton Baker, and that will be it for the first quarter. Colonel Crawford with a 16-9 lead as we head to the second. You're watching boys high school basketball live and free exclusively on the OH Report.
James One Incorporated, providing innovative workshops and training for school districts throughout Ohio. We specialize in the areas of cultural awareness and sensitivity, dangers of teen substance abuse, and more. Call today and schedule your first session. First in promoting excellence through quality professional development.
Ohio Health is the official sports medicine provider of Northmor High School. Available 24/7 to care for your athletes with same-day appointment options. We keep your athletes healthy and in the game. Ohio Health is proud to partner with Northmor High School to provide a healthier community. We are healthcare experts close to home, serving teams, parents, and all of Morrow County. Ohio Health. Believe in we.
Colonel Crawford with a 16-9 lead as we start the second quarter. 6 turnovers for Northmor.
It seemed like more. But I know Coach Tackett was not happy, couldn't be happy with how the first quarter ended. They have the basketball. They come down on transition. They don't have a shot. There's 20 seconds left. Instead of holding for the last shot, they shoot a little bit early. They give Northmor a chance to come down, not only hit a three going into the quarter, but then also starting the second quarter with the basketball. So
Carter Valentine hot in the first quarter. He had 10. Mason Studer has yet to score. He's missed a couple shots. You know that's not going to last.
Well, exactly. But he's done a great job with assists. He's had a couple as the last pass of the quarter to Baker for the three. That's an example why Coach Sheldon loves him. Anytime you get a guard, anybody that can get on the floor, he got on the floor, almost came up with the loose basketball.
He said he is in the gym early. He is in the gym late. He is the typical, as Lauer goes to the line, he's the typical gym rat. He compared him to Aaron Kraft.
That's amazing. That's something. He's the only guy I've ever heard of where the coach says after practice he runs sprints on his own. That's not bad.
Lauer misfires on the free throw. And so far, Northmor 1 for 3 from the line.
Well, Max Lauer certainly came to play himself. They have him matched up guarding Studer, which is a tough matchup. Offensively down here, they've gotten the ball to him a couple of times where he's done some nice offensive moves.
This time Crawford turns it over and Northmor pushes the other way. 3 in the air and good by Caleb Schneer. And don't look now, it's a 4-point ball game again.
Another sophomore. One thing Northmor has is a few sophomores that are going to be very, very good players for him.
Well, Bentley, their leading scorer, is a sophomore. Valentine thought about it, now he puts it up. And Crawford a little cold here from the floor. Let's see if Northmor can take advantage.
Deep.
3 in the air by Mariotti. Logan Mariotti, the senior, with 3, and it's now a 1-point game.
And we remember him shooting pretty well last year from the three-point line, but I'm not sure I remember him shooting that deep.
Studer misses another one. Ball out of bounds. Now, Coach Tackett is saying he didn't touch it. Max Lauer putting forth some effort. And I don't know. It's hard to tell from that angle, but they're going to give the ball to Colonel Crawford. And when you see your players like that, hustling like that.
You just hope that kind of stuff rubs off. I think Northmore's playing hard. I think they're playing harder than they did last year when we saw them play. But you're hoping that kind of effort, that kind of intensity rubs off on everybody else on the court.
Valentine looking inside, and he splits 2 defenders, and the second opportunity by Jake Matty goes in. So now the lead back out to 3. Cass with a runner doesn't go, and the ball out of bounds. It's going to go back to Crawford. Colonel Crawford with a 3-point lead, 5:47 to go in the first half. Brian Harder, Greg Collins from Northmor High School. As Northmor looks for their second win of the season. Colonel Crawford looking for win number 3. Nice look inside. And Baker now with 5.
Well, Lauer is matched up with Studer, and trying to pick him up full court was just a mismatch. And Studer was able to get around him. The help defense came, and he found Baker back cutting for an easy basket.
Colonel offensive foul. That was on Falk. That's his first. So with 5:29 to go in the half, a timeout on the floor, and Colonel Crawford with a 5-point lead. And I'm really surprised that Mason Studer has been held scoreless so far. He's gotten some decent looks. He just hasn't had anything go down yet.
Well, you're right, but he has a few assists. I'm not keeping assists, I don't know, but I bet you he's got 4, maybe 5 assists. The big one, in my opinion, at the end of the quarter when they went 1-4 low, and as Northmor came to help, he found Baker for a wide open shot in the corner. That last points inside was penetration kick. That's what you want from your point guard. It's great when he can score. Allen Iverson was a big scorer as a point guard. Isaiah Thomas could score as a point guard. But you really like a point guard that will distribute when a guy's open, where he can shoot the basketball, and he has done that tonight.
Well, and you've got guys like Carter Valentine who can obviously score. Nolan McKibben was a 48% shooter from the three-point line a year ago, so he has weapons around him. He does not have to shoulder that, but he's a guy you can't sag off of either because he can hurt you.
Exactly.
Valentine continues his hot scoring pace. He's got 12.
That time he just used his height, used the dribble, jumped right over the defender, and got a good look at the basket.
Cass tries to go up and under on Valentine and draws the foul.
I remember that move last year with Grayson Cass. The up and under, he did that last year awfully well, and he starts off this year, and he had to. When you have a bigger player defending you, you have to do something inside.
Cass has yet to score tonight, his first trip to the line. And he misfires, so their woes from the free throw stripe continue. They are now 1 for 5 from the free throw line, and it's a 7-point game. You do the math.
Yeah. So you're telling me they have things to work on next week in practice?
Well, and that's the thing. Tackett told me, he said they shoot free throws all the time.
Sure they do.
It's a mental thing.
Oh, it is.
And you've been around teams where you just have that funk that you get into. Studer on Lauer. Valentine left open for 3.
They got lucky. You can't leave him open.
Nope. And Baker now with 7. And Braxton Baker averages 10 a game. And he pushes the lead to 8. Bentley, who is also cold at the start of this game. The 2 leading scorers for both of these teams have been held scoreless. There'll be a foul.
Mason Studer, when he gets the basketball, watching Brian, he has his head up. He's going hard with the basketball, but you can see those eyes. They're looking at the entire court. They're looking for any teammate. You want somebody that handles the basketball, that keeps their eyes up when they dribble it, and he certainly does.
They look inside to Baker, and Baker misfires over Cass, but another offensive rebound, and Studer puts it up over Lauer, and he can't get it to go. Mason Studer cannot buy a break at the offensive end of the floor. Mariotti has it poked away. It will stay with Northmor. Here's a good look at the sophomore, Bentley. Lauer, big, strong, misfires, and Valentine with a rebound.
I have a feeling the scouting report said don't let him drive right. He is strong going to his right. That time he wasn't able to connect, but I think they want to keep him going left.
Bentley grabs the Valentine miss, and Northmor just hanging around with 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. Try to go backside to Lauer, but another turnover. And Colonel Crawford pushes the other way. And another offensive rebound by Crawford. And Valentine finishes strong.
That time it just looked like Northmor maybe got a little tired. Colonel Crawford took advantage of it. Got a good look on the first shot and then got an offensive rebound, obviously.
Largest lead of the half for Crawford. They're up by 10.
And with 2.5 minutes to go, it's going to be an important 2.5 minutes. You don't want the lead to get too much out of hand.
Inside, Lauer with an offensive putback. It doesn't go, and he still battles for it, and Northmor keeps it. Another misfire by Bentley, who remains scoreless. And a timeout taken by Crawford. They're up by 10 with 2:06 to go. Crawford again looking to extend a 34-game regular season winning streak. They've also beaten Northmor 3 times in their series. They beat them a year ago by 30, 70-40. The last time Northmor beat the Eagles was back in the 2017-2018 season, a 66-63 overtime win at North Robinson.
I'm wondering if that is the Northmor team that had very good basketball team. It had the Kegley brothers. If you remember Tyler Kegley and his brother Kyle, who are right now playing for Jared Renee at Mount Vernon Nazarene. And I saw where Kyle, who is 6'10", Tyler's only 6'7". He's a small
only
kid.
6. He's the runt.
Yeah. And side note, I'm not sure I'd want to prepare Thanksgiving dinner for those guys. But Kyle is averaging over 13 points and was averaging 10 rebounds a game. I think now it's down closer to 9. But on a very good Mount Vernon Nazarene team. Actually, Naz is 7-3 right now. So a good start for Jared Renee and the Mount Vernon Nazarenes.
26-16 Crawford with 2:06 to go before halftime. Stay with us. We'll have the Burkhart Farm Center halftime show. We'll take a look at the halftime numbers.
It looks like they're going with a 1-4 low again. Trying to contain the point guard there is tough, and Studer finds an open shooter again.
And again, it's Baker who continues his hot shooting in the first half.
Spread the court, let him go one-on-one if you're going to help. And remember in the pregame, Northmor, Coach Tack had talked about wanting to draw the offense into the help defense. Well, unfortunately, when you do and you have a player like Studer, he can find the scores.
Mariani inside to Lauer, a nice feed.
That is a nice pass.
Lauer now with 6. And it cuts the Crawford lead to 11. Studer for 3. But another offensive rebound by Baker. Baker from the free throw line. This Northmor team had 4 wins a year ago under first-year head coach Blade Tackett at that time. And long 3 in the air, misfired by Schneerer. Blade Tackett very happy with their offseason and what they were able to do in their win over Marion Pleasant. And he was looking forward to this game, kind of a barometer as to where they are. Carter Valentine checks back in for Crawford.
I remember last year we had Marion Pleasant at Clear Fork, and it was a Clear Fork team that was senior dominated, and Marion Pleasant played with them. And they were missing one of their better players, I remember their coach talking about, with the flu, and that one of that better players was only a freshman himself. So that is a good win for Northmor.
Valentine on Andrew Armrose. They're going to slow it down and work for the last shot of the half.
Here's a tough matchup, with Studer with the basketball. Now with Valentine, you're talking about two outstanding players, but good defense.
Armrose on the floor with Valentine. It's going to be a jump ball situation, and the possession arrow goes to Northmor. So they grit it out on that possession, but they only have 1.2 seconds to go. Armrose looking to get it in. Shot is off, and that is going to do it. The first half is in the books. Colonel Crawford 29 and Northmor 18. You're watching high school basketball live and free exclusively on the OH Report.
Incorporated, providing innovative workshops and training for school districts throughout Ohio. We specialize in the areas of cultural awareness and sensitivity, dangers of teen substance abuse, and more. Call today and schedule your first session. First in promoting excellence through quality professional development.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, when you got your lays that don't last many days, 'cause the whole family's here. Oh, wow. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happiest season of all. The trees at an angle, the lights are all tangled. Doritos, good call. It's the happiest season of all. There'll be smart food for munching, some ruffles for crunching, and snowball fights out in the snow.
Crying!
Run.
Family portraits are cheesy with Cheetos, it's easy. White shirts were a bad idea though. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Grab the queso and salsa. Don't double dip, you monster! Pass the Tostitos here. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be gifts for returning and recipes burning and snacks all laid out in a row. We'll smile through the season, hold tight to the reasons the holidays make our hearts glow. It's the most wonderful time, yes, the most wonderful time, oh, the most wonderful time of the year. Happy holidays! Happy holidays!
Ohio Health is the official sports medicine provider of Northmor High School. Available 24/7 to care for your athletes with same-day appointment options. We keep your athletes healthy and in the game. Ohio Health is proud to partner with Northmor High School to provide a healthier community. We are healthcare experts close to home, serving teams, parents, and all of Morrow County. Ohio Health. Believe in we.
Davis, what a catch!
Welcome to the Burkhart Farm Center halftime show. I am Brian Harder. This is Greg Collins and Colonel Crawford, excuse me, with a 29-18 lead. And some of the guys that we thought were going to be, excuse me, some of the guys we thought were really going to be dominant as far as scoring have been silent in the first half. Mason Studer with no points, but Carter Valentine has picked up the slack and he scored 14.
He has, and I think he's a better shooter than what we saw in that first half. He missed some shots. He missed some good looks. Mason Studer can score. Obviously, he's averaging 23, I think, through 2 games. He didn't score that first half, but he did a great job distributing the basketball. He got some shooters the basketball where they can score from, especially Baker. He set him up a couple of times. Lauer, which is an interesting matchup. Lauer from Northmor is trying to defend Studer. Yeah, he's held him scoreless, but Studer's been able to penetrate, cause the help, pitch to an open shooter, and Colonel Crawford's got some pretty good shooters besides Valentine.
Now, Grant Bentley for Northmor had 23 points in their opening. He has been held scoreless. Max Lauer has led them with 6. They need to get some offensive production out of Grant Bentley and Grayson Cass, who, by the way, he hasn't scored either except for 1 free throw.
Yeah, and that's attributed to Colonel Crawford's defense. They've done a great job of keeping their man in front of them, putting pressure on every shot. Lauer was able to was the recipient of a couple of nice post entries, was able to get to the basket. Another time he was able to drive. But besides that, it's been some tough looks from Northmor.
Now, as we take a look at the halftime numbers and we take a look at some things that were of concern for Blade Tackett, 2 of 6 from the free throw line and 9 turnovers.
And I'm surprised it's only 9. I thought it might even have been a little bit more than that, and I'm not sure if our stat people calls the forced jump balls as turnovers. But, yeah, and you know, I would think going into the game, going into the season, if you're going to try to run as much as Northmor is going to try to run, yeah, maybe 9 is maybe right at the limit. 7 or 8 might be a little bit better, but you gotta say you're going to get some turnovers. But they have had, as you mentioned early, some unforced turnovers.
17 rebounds for Northmor, 15 for Colonel Crawford. Crawford missed a lot of shots, especially in that first quarter.
And for the most part, Northmore's done a good job defensively rebounding against a very good offensive rebounding team. But I'll tell you, in my opinion, Brian, I'm not sure, we haven't talked about this yet, I thought both teams got a little tired there late. Now, I know it's an up-and-down game, but it's also very early in the season. A lot of these kids are coming off a fall sport, and it doesn't matter whether you played football, whether you ran cross country. Every sport is specific, and it takes a while to get your legs under you. And I think both teams are going to be in better condition, certainly as the season progresses. But it looked like they got a little tired there, especially the last 4 or 5 minutes of the second quarter, which is going to lead to some turnovers, some poor shot selection, some mental mistakes.
Now, when I talked to Blade Tackett earlier today, he pointed to 3 things that he felt his team needed to do well tonight in order for them to win. 1, he said they had to eliminate or cut down the turnovers, and they've got 9. Last week they had 20.
Right.
They've got to box out better, which we've seen Colonel Crawford really pound the offensive glass hard. And 3, they had to improve from the free throw line, and they're 2 for 6.
That hasn't happened. And I remember from last year they struggled at the free throw line.
And Mason Studer right out of the gate to start the half gets his first bucket of the ball game.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that was something set up at halftime where Dave Sheldon just wants to get the young boy going. Just get him in the flow a little bit more scoring-wise. Again, he's done a great job with his assist and a set trying to get him an easy shot, and he was able to get it.
It's easy to look at the points, and the points get all the attention, but he still does other things so well. And you talked about how he runs the offense and distributes the basketball.
And, to me, it starts with a point guard. You love to have a great big man, great 3-man, but you better have somebody that can handle the ball and run the show.
Max Lauer with an offensive rebound. He will go to the line as he draws the foul.
Now, remember this from last year, and you've talked about his accolades in football. Boy, if everybody from Northmor could match that young man's aggressiveness, his intensity, everybody can play hard. Not everybody does. Actually, very few play as hard as they possibly can. He seems like a young man that he's going to give it everything he's got when he comes out on the basketball court. I'm sure he did that same thing in football.
Well, he did, and you saw that improvement from last year to this year, and he's only a junior, so he still has some room to grow as well, and it's kind of scary, 6'3", 215 pounds as he splits the pair. And he leads Northmor with 7. 3 in the air and another misfire, but another offensive rebound and another opportunity as Carson Fichtner now with 4. Cass being guarded by Valentine.
And you can see it's just tough to get an open look against this defense. They do a good job of on-the-ball defense. They do a good job of help. Here's a good poor closeout and a good drive, just not able to connect.
Mariotti puts it on the floor. Lauer inside. And another miss. Lauer just right in front of the basket, and Mariotti picks it off.
And that's, you can consider it an unforced error. It was not a good pass option right there.
Armlos looking for Bentley, cutting on the baseline. Cass drives, throws it out of bounds, another turnover, and Crawford looks to add to a 33-19 lead.
You always talk to your point guard. I mean, there was heavy pressure, but Grayson was able to penetrate. You tell him, be under control. Be ready to come to a jump stop if you don't have it. He was up in the air, and it's tough to make a play from there.
Studer being guarded by Lauer. Cass with a steal, and he goes the other way. And I believe they're going to give the ball to Northmor under the basket. No, they called it on Lauer. I thought it was going to be an offensive foul as Lauer going in for the rebound.
And that is probably an over-the-back offensive foul, but do you like the hustle? Do you like the intensity? The big follow?
Inside to Valentine. Valentine with a rare post-up.
It's tough to match his size when he gets close to the basket.
At 6'6", a lot of time players of that size in high school will play the post, but he's been a perimeter player. Cass trying to drive on Valentine with them long arms. Mariotti launches a three that doesn't go, and Valentine clears the rebound. Of course, you had Jamie Fike, who was only an inch taller than Carter Valentine. Did he ever want to be a perimeter player?
Every day in practice he wanted to be, and in the games, yeah. I think every post player wants to be a perimeter player. And only a few perimeter want to be in the post.
Yes.
That's why you don't see too many back-to-the-basket players anymore.
Valentine with another miss. And here comes Northmor. Well, with the three-point line and another turnover by Cass. And you look in the NBA now, you have a lot of 6'10", 7-footers now. Well, a perfect example up at Michigan, Hunter Dickinson, who is a true post player, is now starting to expand his game, and he's already hit a few threes at the beginning of this season.
Well, if you want to play at the next level, you're going to have to expand it some, but
Lauer with the turnover, and he misses the layup, and then adds frustration to that with a foul at the end of it. You love the intensity.
Right. But you got to make the layup. You got to make the easy bucket, especially when you're a team like Northmor that you're coming off a difficult season last year. I think you're a better team this season. I'm not sure what the rest of the conference looks like, but I don't think there's very many games where you're going to run away with it. You need to convert the easy baskets. You need to create easy baskets.
Well, and that's what they want to do, playing at this tempo, especially defensively. Now it looks like they're going to a zone. Northmor with another opportunity here. But again, another turnover. I don't know where Clear Fork came from. Valentine grabs his miss, puts it up, it doesn't go, but he's fouled. His first trip to the line tonight.
Again, I mentioned that I got a chance to talk to Coach Ellenwood from Ashland University this morning, and he was telling me that he saw, as he was recruiting this young man, he saw Colonel Crawford play this summer in a Eastern Ohio basketball camp where they were playing against one of the Olentangy teams. I believe I don't know if it was Olentangy Berlin or which one, but one of them that had a young man that was going to Toledo, and Valentine just outplayed him, out-hustled him, outplayed him during that basketball game. So you can see he's got an upside where he's going to be quite a player.
Timeout taken by Northmor. 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. It's been all Crawford, 37-19, as they've really taken control of things here in the third quarter. Carter Valentine with 18 points. Studer led off the third quarter with his first bucket of the game, and you start to sense a little this one might be starting to get out of hand here, and Blade Tackett wanting to kind of stem the tide.
Well, and what I think good teams that play great defense, this is Colonel Crawford. They've, given 1 point this quarter. They're making everything difficult for Northmor. And to me, that's a sign of a good basketball team. I still believe, now, contrary to that other sport they play in the fall where it seems like you have to score 50 or 60 points in football, I think in basketball, number one, you have to be a good defensive team. You have to be a sound team that does not give easy points, does not give easy shots. contest all shots. And then offensively, Colonel Crawford is playing well. I think they're going to get better as the season progresses. But defensively, they're on top of their game right now.
And is that just because it's early in the season? You hear this a lot in football, too, that the defense is usually ahead of the offense early.
Well, yeah, I think so. And usually in college basketball, it's the same way. You see a lot of poor play games early. But so many of these kids, especially at this level, at these size schools, are playing multiple sports. Valentine, isn't he an all-state player in football also? As well as a second last year in high jump. So it takes a while. It's going to take time. And as a coach, you don't want your team to peak right now in the end of November.
Hunter Folk drives and is fouled. He'll go to the line. Folk 1 for 2 from the stripe tonight. He's got 5. Foul was called on Braxton Baker. That's his second. Folk, another youngster, a sophomore, 5'8".
As I was doing my 5 minutes of research on this basketball game, it was during halftime of one of the games, I think. I noticed in the first game, Colonel Crawford against Crestline scored 5 points in the second and third quarter combined. So, again, that's pretty darn good defense. Third quarter defense is especially pretty good. Right now they've given up 3 points this quarter, isn't it? Or 2, I guess. So they're at their limit. They can't give up any more.
Valentine misfires from the baseline. Lauer comes away with the ball. Crawford opened against Crestline with a 52-28 win. So, yeah, they only gave up 28 for the game. Followed that with a 76-48 win at Kenton last Saturday. Valentine off the front of the iron, doesn't go, but another offensive rebound. And Nolan McKibben. You would say other than Valentine and his scoring, it's really been a cold shooting night for Crawford.
Lauer. I agree. Baker's had some nice looks, had some big baskets, but you're right. It's been more of a team effort tonight.
Valentine now with 20.
And that was a nice move where he's able to avoid the defender and get to the basket.
Off balance shot does not go. And Grant Bentley, the sophomore, will go to the line. The leading scorer for Northmor will look for his first point of the ball game. He had 23 in their win over Pleasant. And their woes from the free throw line continue. Four for 11 from the line.
And like you said, it's so much mental. They practice it.
Well, the thing that you try to do in practice is you try to create pressure situations,
right,
but it doesn't match the speed and the intensity of an actual game.
There's nobody in the stands in practice.
No. Foul. And it's going to stay at this end of the floor. Braxton Baker, who is at his average. He has 10 points on the night. Trevor Vogt, a sophomore, will inbound for the Eagles. As Dave Sheldon going to his bench a little bit here in the third quarter. 3 in the air by McKibben.
Same thing. This time it's Voigt that's dribble penetrates, causes the help, and kicks to a shooter.
But the defensive intensity stays the same for Crawford. And a foul, that's going to be called on Schneer. Carter Valentine back in with 20. Jacob Maddie sits down. Maddie with a couple. 1:26 to go in the third quarter. Crawford now up by 24.
Backdoor. Oh, trying for a backdoor for Valentine there.
And Valentine says, well, we'll go long distance.
That's a tough matchup. That's arm roast, that's a difficult matchup for him.
Ball tapped away. And then a foul by Cass at the other end. So Baker, the 6'4 junior with 10 points, will head to the line for the first time. Baker with a couple threes tonight. And the first miss from the second miss of the night for Crawford from the line. This will only be their 6th attempt. And he splits the pair. Workman inside to Lauer.
They're just playing such good defense. They're not giving Northmor anything easy. They're not letting him dribble penetrate to the basket. They don't really have to rely on their help defense much.
Bentley with an off-balance shot on the inside, doesn't go. Bentley has not had really any good looks at all. And he's guarding Valentine with 6 seconds to go. 3 in the air, and he may have got a piece of it. Ball out of bounds, and they're going to say that is it for the third quarter. Crawford up by 28 as we head to the fourth. You're watching boys high school basketball live and free exclusively on the OH Report.
James 1 Incorporated, providing innovative workshops and training for school districts throughout Ohio. We specialize in the areas of cultural awareness and sensitivity, dangers of teen substance abuse, and more. Call today and schedule your first session. First in promoting excellence through quality professional development.
Ohio Health is the official sports medicine provider of Northmor High School. Available 24/7 to care for your athletes with same-day appointment options. We keep your athletes healthy and in the game. Ohio Health is proud to partner with Northmor High School to provide a healthier community. We are healthcare experts close to home, serving teams, parents, and all of Morrow County. Ohio Health, believe in we.
Colonel Crawford up 48-20 as we start the fourth quarter. Brian Harder, Greg Collins at the Castle here at Northmor High School as we start our coverage of high school basketball. Friday night will be at Mansfield Senior as the Tigers take on Worcester, and Worcester, who's really been the cream of the crop in the OCC for the last couple of years. Excited to see them. Excited to see Mansfield Senior,
who had a good summer, I thought. So I'm expecting to see a better Mansfield Senior team this year that maybe pressures a little bit more than they have in the past.
Marquis Sykes and the TY Tigers. We'll see them Friday night here on OH Report. So now if you're Blade Tackett, you really want to see your players continue to play hard in these final 8 minutes. Cass inside to Lauer. And Lauer has really struggled in close to the basket, but he draws the foul as he remains persistent on the glass.
And that was one of the few times that Northmor was able to get to the paint, was able to break down the defense. Grayson did a good job there. A good look by Lauer, but just not able to convert right there. And again, as the season progresses, you give him the basketball that close to the basket, he's going to score. But what I like about it, he stayed with it. He stayed with it and did draw the foul.
He's got 7 points, but he continues to struggle for the line. He is now 1 for 5.
If you're Northmor, you want to see, being held to 2 points in a score in a quarter. You're not going to win very many games when you have quarters like that.
No, 2 points in a quarter. Yeah, that's.
So you want to see some shot selections from their players. They had a good shot right there. They want to be able to convert and try to score here.
Most of the starters still in the ball game for Northmor. Inside again to Lauer, kicks it out to Mariotti.
But again, good defense. Grayson Cass tried to penetrate. Colonel Crawford shut him down, and it was just not too many players open.
Nolan McKibben with his second three. And it extends the lead to 31. Last time these two teams played a year ago, it was a 30-point win for Crawford. They've won 3 in a row against the Golden Knights. Off balance shot by Cass doesn't go, but another offensive rebound by Lauer, and Bentley can't hit it. And an off balance shot by Mariotti falls short. Another offensive rebound. Doesn't get any easier than that.
Well, that was a great rebound by Mason Studer. Took the ball away, but then his follow-up pass was unbelievable. As you would expect from a Coach Shelton team, very unselfish.
New rule in high school basketball this year. Team's up by 30. The clock's supposed to continue to run, but there's a timeout called. What do you think of the new rule?
I at first I was in favor of it because, I know right now Coach Shelton, he does not want to run the score up on anybody, let alone a former player of his. He doesn't want to do that. But on the same token, he can't ask his kids to stop playing. So in that regard, yeah, running clock is probably good. But does it hurt getting some of those bench players that don't get too many minutes? Does it take away some minutes from them? Yeah, it does. So
it's one of those you can see both sides of it.
Exactly.
For you and I, it just means we're going to get home a little bit earlier.
Nice back cut, nice pass.
And Bentley loses the handle as Studer comes up with a steal. And then at the other end, a foul by Schneerer. It was a nice cut there on the baseline, but Studer.
As Braxton Baker goes to the free throw line, I was laughing early before the game. You and I were talking with Coach Shelton. He was talking about how his father is probably finished playing golf and sitting at his home having a cocktail in Pinehurst, ready to call him tonight and critique the game.
Yeah, he said he always calls and tells him everything he did wrong.
which he wants. That's what you want, and especially to get some information from somebody that has the knowledge that his father has. Now, if my father would have called me with critique, I would have had a difficult time.
Now, can you imagine the conversations at Thanksgiving at the Sheldon house with Rob Sheldon, Chris Sheldon, and Dave Sheldon?
No. That especially, I don't think it was last year. I think 2 years ago when the two teams played each other.
Yes.
And I don't think they play each other very often. They've seen each other because they're both very successful. They've seen each other in tournament play. But regular season, they scheduled each other. And, I'm not sure, how the father probably didn't even come to the game. He probably –
I don't think he left the golf course.
Yeah, especially if it was an early game.
Well, you see a lot of his dad in Dave as you watch him on the sideline.
No question.
I said tongue-in-cheek before the game talking to Travis Berardi that he never had the opportunity to watch Rob Sheldon coach, and I said, he was very mild-mannered and quiet on the sideline.
I heard you say that, and I kind of looked at you going, oh, is that the same one I remember?
I just remember the classic duels between Winford and Ontario. And you talk about two mild-mannered coaches, Joe Baylog and Rob Sheldon.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I
never got off the bench, those two.
I bet you there wasn't an official in the area that wanted to officiate that game.
Up ahead and a block by Braxton Baker, who not only brought the offense tonight, he brought the defense. And Bentley attacked on the baseline, but it started with this. And the struggles for the Northmor offense continue.
They're just not getting anything easy. Colonel Crawford doing a great job in the half court. Northmor not able to get anything on transition. When occasionally they do get an open look, they're not knocking down the open shot. But that's not coming very often. Here's one.
Armrose for three. And an offensive putback up and in by Schneer.
That was a good shot by the sophomore. The defender had his hands down, and he took advantage and got the good look, got the good shot.
Now, you know how you win 266 games? Dave Sheldon is still coaching on that sideline.
Well, yeah, these are guys that he's going to count on. He didn't need them, maybe all of them tonight, though there are a couple of players out there a few players out there that did get in during crunch time. But, hey, they are the future of Colonel Crawford, and you're going to need your entire bench if you're going to have a great season.
Well, the defense has done the job for Crawford. 5 points in the second half for Northmor. 3 in the air. Does not go by Ethan Holt, but he's going to get another try at it. And another offensive putback. And they continue to pound the offensive glass, and they're going to go to the line. That's Jacob Maddie.
Coach Tackett said before the game one of the keys for his team was checking out, not giving second shots. Well, that's probably a key for every game. But you don't have to watch Colonel Crawford play. You know their history, their tradition. They have always been a good offensive rebounding team. You better come buckled up, ready to check out, maybe have your mouth guard in tonight, and be ready to play physical.
Well, they have been relentless on the glass as Maddie makes both free throws. Maddie with 4. So Crawford will go to 3-0. Both teams will enter league play next week, or at the end of this week, excuse me.
That's when it really counts. That's when you want to be playing better basketball, obviously. Again, too early to peak, but you want to be playing better basketball come conference time.
Braxton Baker with the penetration and the foul. Colonel Crawford will go to Buckeye Central on Saturday to take on the Bucks, and the Golden Knights will go to Danville on Friday to take on the Blue Devils.
And aren't we back here next week with
we will be back
Fredericktown?
Here. Yes.
With the Freddie Birds, who we had in their tournament play last year. Was senior-dominated team, but a very good team last year.
14 points for Braxton Baker. And he'll look for 15 from the line. (59-23) as that clock continues to roll as we approach a minute. Ethan Holt with the left hand, and he gets his first 2 points of the ball game.
Doesn't matter who comes off the bench for Colonel Crawford, they're going to play defense. Remember last year, Brian, we had Northmor throughout the season, and I remember making the comment late in the season how, yeah, they only had 4 wins, but you could tell they were a better basketball team late. I could see this happening again this year for them. They're going to be a better basketball team. They're going to get more than 4 wins, but they're going to be a much better basketball team as the season progresses.
TJ Deal thought about the 3.
5 seconds left, young man. Get a shot up.
That's going to do it. Colonel Crawford 61 and Northmor 23. We'll be back with the Burkhart Farm postgame show coming up after this. You're watching high school basketball live and free exclusively on the OH Report.
Incorporated, providing innovative workshops and training for school districts throughout Ohio. We specialize in the areas of cultural awareness and sensitivity, dangers of teen substance abuse, and more. Call today and schedule your first session. First in promoting excellence through quality professional development.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, when you've got your lays that don't last many days, 'cause the whole family's here. Oh, wow. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happiest season of all. The trees at an angle, the lights are all tangled. Doritos, good call. It's the happiest season of all. There'll be smart food for munching, some ruffles for crunching, and snowball fights out in the snow.
Crying!
Run.
Oh, who is that?
Family portraits are cheesy with Cheetos, it's easy. White shirts were a bad idea though. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Grab the queso and salsa. Don't double dip, you monster! Pass the Tostitos here. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be gifts for returning and recipes burning and snacks all laid out in a row. We'll smile through the season, hold tight to the reasons the holidays make our hearts glow. It's the most wonderful time, yes, the most wonderful time, oh, the most wonderful time of the year. Happy holidays! Happy holidays!
Ohio Health is the official sports medicine provider of Northmor High School. Available 24/7 to care for your athletes with same-day appointment options. We keep your athletes healthy and in the game. Ohio Health is proud to partner with Northmor High School to provide a healthier community. We are healthcare experts close to home, serving teams, parents, and all of Morrow County. Ohio Health, believe in we.
What a catch!
Now back with our Burkhart Farm Center player of the game, Carter Valentine. Game high, 23 points tonight. Actually scored as many points as Northmor as a unit, but total team effort for your guys. What were you most satisfied with collectively overall from what you guys got as a team?
I think defensively we put on a clinic. You know, our game plan was coming out, stopping the two best players, and good having Nolan back. He played great defensively. Our whole team did. You know, it was a great team effort. Great team effort.
That third quarter, obviously you guys started creating some space on the scoreboard. What adjustments did you make at halftime, and what did you feel about the flow that helped you guys get out to that big lead?
Same thing as first half. You know, stop two of the best players. I think four. I don't know if he scored a bucket. You know, it's huge. He had 23 his first game. He's a great player. He's gonna be a great player. And number two, point guard, leads the team. You know, they're a good basketball team. Proud of our teammates. You know, it's a good game.
Really smooth performance from you tonight offensively. We knew that you were a standout last year. What do you think you've even added to your game in this season as a senior that's elevated your play?
I think offensively I'm better at getting to the rim. You know, last year I kind of struggled with the ball handling. You know, I've kind of worked on that all summer. You know, and having Mason out there and knowing we got a lot of guys back. You know, it's not just me. You know, it's team game. You know, it's a brotherhood really. You know, I love my guys. We got work to do, but you know we're doing good.
And then last year, perfect regular season. You probably got bounced a lot earlier than you wanted to in the postseason. How much did that drive and fuel you and all the other guys that came back this year?
Well, it definitely has. You know, we got one goal: is get back to that district championship, get past the district semis first, you know, and then league championship, and hopefully get to a regional. So, you know.
Well, off to a nice start, 3-0 now on the season. Haven't lost a regular season game in 36 outings. Impressive stuff, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, our player of the game presented by Burkhart Farm Center, Carter Valentine. Throw it now back up to Brian and Greg.
Thanks a lot, Brian. Thanks a lot, Carter. Congratulations on our player of the game. 23 points for Carter Valentine as he leads Colonel Crawford to a 61-23 win over the Northmor Golden Knights. And as we take a look at the final numbers, obviously domination by Colonel Crawford. 15 field goals, 7 threes, 30 rebounds. Crawford hitting 10 of 12 from the line, and Northmor struggling 4 of 14 from the stripe.
Well, that was a problem they had all last season, and it's continuing right now, but certainly tonight that didn't make a difference in the basketball game. But both teams are going to be able to take some things away from this and find some good. Even Northmor, they're going to find some good. I thought they played pretty hard, especially Lauer. I thought they played pretty hard most of the basketball game, so they'll be able to take some positives away from this, and both teams are going to find some things they need to work on.
But we talked about the defensive effort of Colonel Crawford. They limited Northmor to 1-3 in the second half offensively. No twos, 1-3.
One made 3. That's amazing. 5 points in the second half in itself is amazing, but they didn't give Northmor any good looks. The few good looks that they had, Northmor couldn't convert, but you could tell even when Dave Sheldon brought players off the bench, those kids were locked in on the ball defense. And, you know, you always work on your help side defense. You always work on that, but you've got to be able to guard the basketball man-to-man. You've got to be able to cut down penetration, rely on your help side defense as little as possible. Teams are getting so good now that when you start with help side, they're going to make some nice passes and get the shooter the ball at the position he wants it.
Mason Studer had a quiet night offensively, only 4 points, all of those in the second half. But Braxton Baker really stepped up. He had a nice ball game, 15 points, and that helped Carter Valentine's 23.
And Braxton Baker is a young man that I saw play last spring. He just happened to belong to the AAU program that I'm affiliated with. And, you know, he's a great young man, as well as Jacob Matty. But it doesn't surprise me. He can knock down the open shot. And as you said, Mason Studer, if you're open, he's going to find you.
Well, with the win, Colonel Crawford is now 3-0. The regular season winning streak is at 35 in a row. And Northmor is 1-1. The final score tonight, Colonel Crawford 61 and Northmor 23. Our thanks to tonight's broadcast team. Our producer was Adam Thompson. And the fine camera work courtesy of Travis Berardi and Brian Skoronski. Our stats provided by Keegan Wilson and Madison Hack. Most of all, our thanks to you for joining us. Once again, the final score from Northmor, Colonel Crawford 61 and Northmor 23. You've been watching high school basketball live and free on the OH Report, powered by BS Media Productions, the future of local sports. For Greg Collins, I'm Brian Harder. So long from Northmor.